You're listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast about one of the most legendary bands of all time, Deep Purple. We take a look at the music, history, and people behind the band Deep Purple and beyond. Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, the first and only podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 156, Deep Purple on the Wings of a Russian Foxbat. And coming to you from the early morning suburbs of Chicago, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Dead Arm Matola.
Oh no, we're not watching that show. Why is your arm dead?
I just fell asleep on my arm again.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that you should save that for last concert in Japan.
Oh no! All right, I'm gonna recycle that one. I'm already calling it.
I was like, oh, does he think we're doing last concert in Japan?
No.
Nope. Thankfully not. We're not doing that. We're going to do a much better representation of Tommy here. But hey, folks, thanks for joining us. We're on a live stream this morning. There's a coffee and tea fight going on between the Brits and the Americans in the chat. Sorry, I'm team coffee this morning. But yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. And hey, we're going to get right into it. We got a great live show. We're going to talk a little bit about that and jump right into the performance. Before we do that, there's a few ways that you can support our show. You can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You can click and subscribe or do whatever nonsense you want to do on YouTube. Join one of the tens of people that listen to our shows on YouTube. You can buy merch at our Etsy store. We have mugs and t-shirts available. Become a patron on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You can help support the show also on PayPal. And hey, we're like all the cool kids. We're on Cash App. So you can Cash App us at DPPod on Cash App. I'll have my phone at the ready here, waiting for any sort of announcements that somebody's donated on Cash App. Be just like those YouTubers. Oh, there's a message on Cash App. What does this say? It's probably like they want me to sign up for a credit card or something. Oh, they want me to invite my friends to join. John, I'm going to send you an invite to join Cash App so I can get $15. All right.
All right.
So hey, yeah, we're ready to get into things. But before we do,
Hi-yo!
We have a new patron coming in at the $1 made up name tier, but this name doesn't sound made up. That name is Scott Price. Scott, thank you so much. I did not
made up name.
It could be a made up name, sure.
Yeah.
Like a friend of mine in high school was named Barbara Johnson. My cousin Jeff was convinced that she was in the witness protection program. He's like, sure, Barbara Johnson, sure, that's her real name. Like he did not believe for a second that was her real name. He's like, it's too normal. Like there's no way that's a real name.
That's true.
He wasn't buying it. I always remember her. I haven't talked to her in 30 years, and I always think about her when I think of made up names. Okay, yeah. So thank you for joining. I did not get a message or if he wanted a made up name in time. So if I hear back from him, we can get his little welcome message on the next episode. But hey, I just want to thank you to our executive level patrons coming in at the $25 uncommon man tier. We have Ovis Nakvi. At the $21.12 long live rock and roll tier, Richard Fusey. At the £10 tier, we have Dr. Jill Brees. At the turn it up to $11 tier, Clay Wambacher, Frank Teelgard Mortensen, Alan Ain't Too Proud to Beg, and Mikkel Steen. And at the $10 someone came tier, Ryan M, Jeff Bryce, Gerald Kelly, Victor Campos, Better Call Saul Evans, and Kev Roberts and his wonderful family. Thank you so much to all of you for your donations. And Alan's in the chat right now. He just gave a hey-o. So yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Also check out Deep Dive Podcast Network for other like-minded shows if you're looking to explore any other bands. Most recent entry is an Aerosmith podcast. So if you want to revisit their catalog, you can join Casey and John and do just that.
And I started listening to that too, by the way. It's very good.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think that they've got like maybe 2 episodes so far.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Very good. I highly recommend.
I think we talked about it in our last episode, but it was my introduction to Lord of the Thighs. Which somehow has eluded me.
Yeah.
Okay, so John, what do you know about or remember about On the Wings of a Russian Foxbat?
Just the name of the album. I don't think I've ever heard it.
Yeah, it's kind of a memorable one, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, these days I think we should call it the wings of an East European aircraft.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's actually extra fitting these days for what's going on in the world. But
Yeah.
hey, oh, you know what? Before we get into that, I do have one more thing. I've got some, I got some mail that was just delivered here. This is postcards from the edge of Connecticut. We got this one is, I don't even know what that is. Maybe it'll say on the back. It's it's Ireland. There you go. Giant's Causeway in Ireland. So that makes sense. And it arrived yesterday, which was St. Patrick's Day as we record this. And of course, it's from Peter Gardeau. It says, Nate, tonight will be a pizza. So a little background. I went to a pizza place with my kids after I got my daughter's ears pierced. And they had, it was like rock and roll themed. And the menu was all like pizzas that were named after bands. There's no Deep Purple pizza. So they gave me a postcard of the pizza place. So I sent it to Peter, my first postcard I've sent since I was maybe 15. And I was like, I had to return the favor. And then he responds. So he's responding back to that postcard. So now we're of course, I don't have a cache of like hundreds of postcards here. So I'm gonna have to get some. But he says, Nate, tonight will be a pizza night here as our daughter comes home for the end of her spring break after spending time in a yurt in Vermont. Wow. Wishing the DPP a happy St. Patrick's Day. Maybe a nothing at all pizza is on the menu. So he's talking about the menu with no Deep Purple pizza. I like it.
Nothing at all. I love it.
Nothing at all. And he's wishing us a happy St. Patrick's Day, and it came on St. Patrick's Day. So how about that? Then I also on the same day get an envelope in the mail, and when I go to pull the thing out of the envelope, I see this, and it's like, it's also from Peter Gardeau, mind you, and it's like an advertisement for like a like a what do you even call it?
An old person scooter.
An old person scooter, kind of like combination wheelchair walker, the So Light Glide. And I'm like, why is he sending me this? Then I flip it over, and it's Parade magazine, 1972, the story behind the year's most unforgettable songs. So then it made a little bit more sense. And then in there, of course, Mark with a picture of Mark III, they're talking about Smoke on the Water, as mentioned as one of the 1972 songs. And also there's a taped on the inside is a check for this shirt that I got for him in in Florida, which I was like, oh, I totally forgot. He never paid me back.
Oh, right.
Peter, you could have easily scored on me with that one because I totally forgot.
You could have Venmo'd him. It would have taken like 3 years to like figure out how to transfer the funds.
I think we talked about that on our episode with Rich about how much trouble I had sending him the Venmo. And then I don't think we even told you because me and Rich talked about it, but since then, like a few days ago, I got a message that was like, your funds have been denied and they've been returned to you. And I was like, what? It was almost a month after I'd sent Rich the money. I'm like, what? So I contact him. I'm like, what's going on? Did you deny my funds? He's like, no. And then I look, and the funds, so he doesn't have the funds and I don't have the funds. So I'm like, what the hell is going on here? All this money's gone, but neither of us have it. But then I contacted, I still have no idea what happened, but I contacted Venmo and they're like, oops. And they're like, you'll get it in the next few days. I'm like, great. So then I got the money back. I sent it to Rich again. He confirmed he has it. So we're all caught up. Except I owe him some sort of interest now for that month loan he gave me. So finally taken care of. So welcome to Raf Caff, who's in the chat. We got Stephen Somerville in the chat. Who else do we have? Davi Liao, who I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, who we always converse with on Twitter. All right, so we'll confer a little bit more of the chat once we get to actually listen to the album. We're almost there, but the lead up. So we're talking On the Wings of a Russian Foxbat. It took me a while before I figured out that On the Wings of a Russian Foxbat was many different. There's many different releases of it, but basically, what you're going to be hearing today is about just a couple of weeks before the band actually finally breaks up. This is one of the last shows they played in the US before shooting over to to the UK to do a 5-show tour in the UK. There's a lot of releases about this. Some of them where they talk about the lead up to this, where Coverdale was really like adamant that they should change the name of the band because he didn't feel it should be called Deep Purple anymore. But management was like, nope, we got too much invested into Deep Purple. It's too much of a brand. You guys are going to be Deep Purple.
How about White Snake? They have
Well, his suggestions were Good Company, which is like a parody name, Purple, or The Deeps. Yeah, he hadn't. I guess he was holding a White Snake in his pocket, as it were.
yeah, it sounds like he was keeping his best ideas to himself at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when I go solo, that's going to be my. He probably was holding on to that since he was like 12. So the show you're about to hear was originally broadcast on the King Biscuit Flower Hour, which was an American radio show where they played live concerts. And it was a weekly show, and everybody was on the show, like Black Sabbath, Genesis, John Lennon, go down the list, everybody that was anybody. Fans of the show called it the Biscuit. I like that.
The Biscuit.
And the runners of the show did things a little differently, and I think you're going to really hear that when we get into the recording. A lot of other shows just took, like, if they were going to broadcast something live, they just broadcasted it directly from the soundboard, but they multi-tracked everything and then would give the recordings to the artists and say, you can do with this whatever you want. So they got a really good recording, and this wasn't released until 1995 officially, but it was immediately released in 1977 as a bootleg, and it became a very popular bootleg, and the name of the bootleg was On the Wings of a Russian Foxbat. So the bootleg packaging is just as confusing, which I'm going to get up on the screen right here. So so it features like a bunch of Chinese soldiers for whatever reason, because it's called On the Wings of a Russian Foxbat. But it became like really legendary because everybody was really because the sound quality was just so good. Usually these bootlegs were less than stellar with their sound quality. So this kind of gained legendary status, and you can see kind of the writing at the bottom there, and just kind of the blank little record label. Here's a signed copy, which is kind of cool. It's a signed bootleg, signed by Glenn Hughes, John Lord, and Ian Paice.
Nice.
And then finally in 1995, it got this official release, and that was the cover, which was I'm not sure who took the photos. It might have been Finn Costello. Well, I know that Tommy photo was a Finn Costello. So some of the photos are from like the rehearsal up there, the Tommy Bolin photo, and some of them are live pictures of the band playing. So this was like the first 1995 British release. The one that I got was this one, the Deep Purple in concert, King Biscuit Flower Hour, with the smoke on the stage and Coverdale.
Okay.
Hughes.
I have that one, so I guess I do have it under a different name, so I have heard it.
Yeah, and I think that's where the disconnect comes, because it was named something completely different. So they went with the name of the bootleg was On the Wings of a Russian Foxbat, which we'll get into in a little bit. The US version was King Biscuit Flower Hour, Deep Purple, and then there was a second version of this, which is similar photo, King Biscuit Flower Hour. So so in my opinion, this is just my speculation, they released this in 3 different ways and realized all of these names have ridiculous, all of these releases have ridiculous, silly names. King Biscuit Flower Hour, On the Wings of a Russian Foxbat. So in 2003, they released it as Deep Purple, live at Long Beach Arena, which is slightly more normal.
Yeah, it tells you what it is.
It even says the time, February 27th, 1976, Friday evening at 8 p.m. So there you go. And you got more like the film strip style pictures, really cool pictures. Then they release it again in 2009, live at Long Beach, with this kind of, with the vintage artwork from the bootleg, which had kind of gained notoriety. So they're kind of going back to the bootleg artwork. Then it was released a second time in Britain as live at Long Beach, with a more kind of almost mimicking Made in Japan cover. And then the live soundboard series was the last release that I can find, 2016, live Long Beach 1976. So they have the Deep Purple live series. There's also one of Mark II from 1971 from the series. So this is a kind of a more, it's a really great picture, just of Coverdale screaming and the Deep Purple logo. So it kind of calmed down with the crazy artwork. So then there's some information in here, which before we get into it, why on the wings of a Russian foxbat, like what the hell does that mean? Well, Simon Robinson writes in I think on the wings of a Russian foxbat release or the King Biscuit Flower Hour, I don't know which one. He says, "Go on, Uncle Simon. Why on the wings of a Russian foxbat? Well, when that bootleg first came out, the Cold War was still raging. The US military had just got wind of a new Ruski MiG jet fighter, which was said to knock the socks off of anything they currently flew at the time. One day, a Russian pilot defected flying into a Japanese airport in one of the planes, codenamed Foxbat. Of course you can have it back, came the cry, just as soon as we measure every damn nut and bolt on it. Well, that's roughly the story. It was nearly 20 years ago, so don't quote me." So that doesn't really answer anything. It does answer like what Foxbat is, but what I would guess is because they kind of stole this jet, this like high quality jet, and were like holding it hostage and or whatever, keeping it. They were kind of saying like it came in on the wings of one of these jet fighters because this is like an illegal bootleg. That's my interpretation. Maybe I'm dead wrong. Who knows? But with that, there is a very long instrumental section in here where we'll get into our next group of patrons during the instrumental. But we're pretty much just going to listen to this uninterrupted unless we need a break or for whatever reason. So are you ready to get into this one?
Are we, everybody?
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, of course we are. That's what they're here
Then we have to
for.
wait 30 seconds in silence till it gets to them and they can respond. All right, here we go on the wings of a Russian foxbat. The swell of the crowd noise. And of course, they're going to kick it off with Burn. Hopefully everyone's hearing that. Jonathan Headland's in the chat. Welcome. Johnny Headland.
Some rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
This is probably the best quality Mark IV recording live.
Sounds pretty great so far.
The fidelity on the crowd noise is chef's kiss. Here we go.
That's when you know shit's starting up.
It's getting real. Riffs are on inbound. Alan Begg's already whooping in the chat.
Whoop.
It's interesting hearing how he plays the riff. Like it's got this that little bit of a little more of a swing to it. Michael Catan asking if there's a DVD of this. Sadly, no. That would be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
There he goes.
Ow, ow! Oh, Coverdale used to do that whooping.
I feel like he enunciates more clearly in this one.
Yeah, he is singing it a little differently than I'm used to.
Alan Begg's asking if David or Glenn are in the chat. That would be great. And Rich said earlier that he used to listen to King Biscuit. The Biscuit! I wonder if the Gardot listened to the Biscuit.
It's a fresh biscuit.
Yeah. Rich gets the stale biscuit.
No, wait, I got the stale biscuit. Rich
that
was
was
got
you,
the
that's
fresh
right.
one.
Yeah, we'll get you a fresh biscuit. Here's I have the original King Biscuit one, the other one, but I have this one. I couldn't find my original one anywhere. But I found this one. Classic double disc here. And there's the biscuit. Lord's really cutting loose on this solo. Looks more like a potato than a biscuit. I love that. I wonder if, does he like actually just kick the amp, or maybe it's like the Echoplex that does it, I don't know, but it just sounds like they're too rattling. You can only see me up there in the stream. Is anybody able to see John in the stream? I might have to go back to the other monitor here.
I think only when I'm talking.
Oh, it doesn't show us both at the same time?
No.
That's weird. In my shared window, it shows us both, but all right. I really like how the spin he puts on the solo. So Mike Catan just let me know that he is Mike in CLE, that we read his podcast review a few episodes back. I just didn't make the connection that it was that Mike. So thank you, Mike. But you haven't heard it yet, but on one of the episodes coming before this one comes out, you will get some Flexitone love. Davey in the chat says that Coverdale's still recovering from St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if you saw the St. Patrick's Day video he sent out.
I didn't see it.
It's a lot like his same energy as his Christmas one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. He was all dressed in green.
Of course. I just happened to pick out a green shirt yesterday when I went to work, and I'm like, well, this is very fortuitous.
I finished my 20-year streak of always forgetting. Even though I worked late yesterday, my kids were wearing green when they left, and I just got to work and everyone was wearing green. I was like, oh yeah, forgot.
Oh well.
Thank you.
Have a little laugh there.
Good to be back with you. We're going to be doing some songs for you. We're gonna do
Going to
some
be.
repertoire
Sounds like you just
to
did.
hypnotize the band. Woo! Thank you. We're gonna feature a song from Tommy's album Teaser. We're gonna give you some songs from Burn, Stormbringer, Main in Japan, Machine Head.
Wow. It's like at a meeting when they show you the agenda beforehand. Here's
Yeah,
what we're going
right?
to talk about today.
We're gonna do a song for you off the new album. A song about a lady who sells herself for money.
It's like 90% of all rock songs from the 70s.
Own up, gentlemen, we love them.
Own up,
Here you
gentlemen. We
go.
love
Here's a song for you. A song called Lady Luck.
Hold up, gentlemen. We love them. Oh, David. Here's a song for ya. Have we ever heard? I don't think I've ever heard a live version of this, or not in a while, anyway. It's pretty good.
I think I've heard this one. I mean, I'm trying to think of what. So this one doesn't have what I've heard. I mean, I actually own this, so I've heard it before. I haven't heard it in a long time. I'm trying to think of which live. Somebody in the chat will know, but there's one where they do Wild Dogs live. I've got that one around somewhere too.
Yeah, I think that was the. I've heard that one. Yeah. Jonathan in the chat.
Here's a sandwich for you.
There's a dirty grinder for ya.
I'm getting a warning in YouTube that the stream rate, the bit rate is too low. So let me know how the quality is in the chat. Yeah, and it's like Glenn's like matching him in the he's saying Lady Luck. You can hear it a little more clearly than on the album. He's got his envelope filter on. Glenn's getting funky.
Hughes was really favoring those, like, really just kind of like holding those high notes there.
Yeah, so Lady Luck was on the last concert in Japan, and Wild Dogs must be what I'm thinking of, because that's also on the last concert in Japan. Yeah, the quality of this recording is excellent. Like, they are playing very well, and the sound, the quality of it is great.
Yeah, there were little things here and there, like you hear with like the vocals and stuff like that, but it's like, that's what I like as opposed to the official release live albums, is that it's kind of leaving in the rawness.
Yeah, right. Oh, Philip Baxter in the chat, thank you. Last concert in Japan, or this time around live, have a good take on Wild Dog. And that's one of those ones I think that has a million names, like Phoenix Rising, and 100 different names for that one too.
Thank you very much. We're gonna do a song for you. It's a song that's off the album. It's a new single from Deep Purple. It's a song that features Glenn Hughes. He wrote the song with Tommy Bolin. A rock and roll song called Getting Tighter.
Oh, Nate, you're gonna be excited.
Opening with a bang.
I don't think I've heard live.
There's a few good versions of it live.
I'm interested to see how that breakdown sounds live.
It's a 13-minute version of Getting Tighter, so you know it's gonna be that breakdown's gonna be a little lengthy.
Oh boy.
People who had the album were like, wait, when's Getting Tighter gonna start? Charles Baker rather in the chat is saying the first White Snake lineup performed Lady Luck for the BBC in Paris at the Paris Theatre in 1978. So that would be a good one too. They're getting themselves into a groove here. I like it. This would have been the show to be at, I think, for Mark IV. If anyone could think of a better Mark IV live performance, they gotta let us know. And unfortunately, they
certainly
released
not last concert in Japan.
yeah, they released that one. Here we go.
Brr. I think when Hughes does that, that's like the bass equivalent to him going whoop.
Davey said it's nice of DC to say it's by Deep Purple, the song.
I wonder what Coverdale's doing during this song.
Well, I think you'll find that he spends a lot of time off stage.
He's probably backstage banging some bitches.
Exactly what John said. I mean, even for a 13-minute version of Getting Tighter, that'd be great if they just put in a Coverdale section in the middle. Alan asks if he's playing the tambourine, but yeah, he's not like a Gillan. He doesn't go back there and shake the tambourine. He just jets. Oh, it looks like Coverdale was singing some backup there. Unless that was Tommy. That might be Tommy. Yeah, that's Tommy. Oh, listen to that.
Wow.
A little more up-tempo than on the record.
If that's even possible.
Man, that was hot as shit. I don't mind saying it.
Wow.
Davey in the chat says Coverdale's on the phone with Moody and Marston. He's like, I only see myself having another couple of weeks with this band. Ooh.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, Hughes's voice overall is not the best it's ever been.
No, that's and obviously, unfortunately he was in the throes of, really beginning the worst part of his addiction, and yeah, now he would just be completely nailing the song 50 years later.
I figure they read a lot of stories about how the album was like a struggle for him to record, so I'm not surprised he didn't sound his best on this tour.
Right. I think they just wheeled him out on a dolly and were like, here's your envelope. I mean, I'd be interested to know what gear he's using, but it sounds like an envelope filter. Maybe he's using a wah pedal, I don't know. What did he say?
I don't know what it is that pissed me off.
It sounds like he said something pissed him off. Yeah, good point. He's saying it's not his live Sabbath vocals. Yeah, that was probably the low point, unfortunately, for him. Now imagine if you're a Deep Purple, or maybe like a casual Deep Purple fan, and you'd gone to see them like 3 years earlier, and then you show up to this show and you're like checking your ticket stuff. They keep saying they're Deep Purple, but like, am I at a Deep Purple? Is this really Deep Purple?
Is this one of the openers? Like, when is Deep Purple coming on?
Yeah, when are they coming? He keeps really plugging this guy on stage keeps really talking Deep Purple up. That's cool.
Oh, the last time that I saw him was 1967. This doesn't sound like them at all.
Yeah.
Honey?
67. We got in early on that one.
Yeah, but this is, yeah, you're not wrong. This is some hot shit.
Oh, great. And this is the kind of stuff you want to see live. Nice little jam.
Yeah,
Like
we're
some of the
talking Mark
albums-
IV. Like this is what we signed up for.
Oh, he's got like an octaver now. He's either that or Glenn's matching him, maybe.
I feel like it's that.
Yeah, at first I thought he had an octaver pedal.
Yep.
Check social.
Wow.
They're, dare I say, getting tighter with this matching. Crowd seems to be loving it. Like this opening band's really giving Deep Purple a run for their money. Davey says, "This is a funk fusion band. Where's the Jesus dude?" Glenn starts feeling himself and just ad-libbing all these vocals.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm feeling so good. I think John Lord's in the back with Coverdale now. Maybe Bolin. It's just Hughes and Paice. Paice never gets a break, unfortunately.
I think this is his break.
Yeah, exactly. This is how he winds down. Just by feeling himself and playing some funky bass. There's one of these liner notes in here where Lord was really talking up Glenn as a bass player. I think I've got the quote here somewhere.
Well, that's true. I mean, his bass playing certainly didn't suffer all that much.
Yeah, Lord says, what you had here was an astonishingly good bass player, even stoned, one of the world's greatest rock drummers, and a Hammond next to the name of Mr. Hammond. I don't know what he meant by that. I knew what I was doing. I was feeling very strong with my abilities at the time. Just those three, it couldn't have been bad. But then you get Coverdale, who is really finding himself by this time, and Tommy playing smashing stuff. It's not surprising that it sounds good. The only thing that held it back was being called Deep Purple. If it had been a new band, my God, it would have set the world on fire. And I guess that's part of the danger of doing something like this, is that if people are associating it with your earlier stuff, they're just like, they're not, you have a hard time finding new fans, and your old fans maybe don't dig it as much. Whereas people who would have really loved it just wrote it off because like, I'm not that into Deep Purple.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess historically now, I'm glad it's Deep Purple. Maybe at the time it would have been more detrimental, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I still argue that if you love Deep Purple and all of the versatility that they brought, that why wouldn't you love this as much as you would love any other version of Deep Purple?
I think there's a core amount of fans, a solid amount, that just like, you know, in Rock the Machine Head basically, and Made in Japan. That's like the sum total of what they know about Deep Purple, what they like about it, and they really, really liked that, but don't dig a lot of the other stuff. And for 50 years, I've been waiting for them to do a Machine Head again, and they're just not going to do it. And it's kind of cool. I mean, if you've ever been in a band and done like a lengthy jam session like that, this is kind of how it evolves into. It's just, you start finding these grooves and start mirroring what the other guys are playing, and it's got a great feeling to it. Rich said, drum stop and bad things happen. Rich is not digging the breakdown. I got bad news for you. What's going to happen later, Rich? Spoiler alert. This was nothing. That's why we're going to thank the patrons later. That only takes about a minute. Oh yeah, good call. Ralph Caff is saying like the rehearsals, they kind of jam on a similar riff for in the Days May Come. Come Taste the Band rehearsals. Another great little weird bootleg. Well, official sort of bootleg.
Ooh.
What?
I think Bart Robinson's in the wrong place.
Yeah, Bart, you're... I got bad news for you, Bart.
Ooh, there's a lot of those guys in this.
I'm gonna do a song for you. It's a song that was written by Tommy Bolin and me. This is on the new album. The song features John Lord on synthesizer with Magic Fingers going.
Magic Fingers.
All right. Here's a song for you called Love Child.
And it's pretty incredible. They're just, they haven't done anything from Mark II yet. They will next. They did Burn. But they're really, nothing they're playing so far is more than, 2 years old. Axe Fiend says, every time Glenn goes woo, take a drink.
Oh, all right. Well, I just have water here, but I'll do that. I'm looking for like Hughes going whoop and Coverdale going ow.
Yeah, it's got a different feel to it than on the album. I mean, this section anyway. Ooh, that's a nice one.
Yep. The chat is getting ridiculous.
The chat's off the rails. I love it. Oh, here we go. This is too good.
Blue. Take a drink every time you hear burr or boo.
And you're dead.
Get your ass up there.
Switching it up a little bit on the synth solo. Yeah, the chat's off the rails saying that they only like the Satriani era of Deep Purple. Davi says he's more into the Randy California era.
That one show.
So you'd have those like contrarians or contrarian, like the video you sent earlier, but or was it you or no? Yeah, it was you.
Hey.
The guy that says the Beatles. He had the hot take about the Beatles being no good, but he likes Nickelback. You know, people that just love to have the hot takes for hot take's sake. There'll be people that say the only thing I really like with Deep Purple is the Randy California show. It came out like a year ago.
Wow.
Everything else they did just paled in comparison. Going off the deep end, I love it.
This is some good shit.
The last time we did a live stream, it was immediately banned by YouTube, so I don't know if this one will be banned, like, if you'll be able to watch it after. If not, this will be episode 156, whenever the heck that comes out.
But guys, it's a bootleg. Come on. How could we be violating any terms with an illegally recorded show from 45 years ago?
It's April 11th it'll come out, so there you go. I'm trying to remember what the last live one was that got banned. When we did the live, what did we do the live stream with? What were we doing? I don't remember.
It was definitely another live album.
Soon we'll be able to do this with a live video performance. It'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is very Bolin influenced. Ow! Oh,
tight.
He went, ow! I took a drink.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Davey has a good point here. Well, let's hear what Coverdale has to say first.
We're going to do a song for you off an album that was made in Switzerland. The song tells the story. Cheers. The song tells the story about what happened while the album was being made.
Smoke on the water.
Yeah, and for 50 years, people will continually ask, what's the story about that song being made?
It also concerns Frank Zappa and the Mothers. Anyway, the album was called Machine Head. And Tommy Barnes
Anyway.
played the song for you.
He's giving that Tommy Boy swing to it. Did he say, did you shiver? Yeah, Davey is imagining in the chat how funky the 77 and 78 Deep Purple albums would have been if they continued on this trajectory.
Right? They would have gone full on like Donna Summer.
We talked about that in one of our Glenn Hughes episodes. Like, I think all must have been falling on the floor. Imagine what if he had been more in control of his faculties. He could have been a sensation.
Honestly, the interpretation of the music is pretty good, like Bolin's riff and everything, but it's like, I just think that this song was just not suited to like Coverdale and Hughes' vocals. Because you remember when we heard the live Gillan version that he did in the late 70s, and like the Gillan band version, it was like awesome, and it was totally different take.
Yeah, and they did they changed up the instrumentation much more than Deep Purple's doing here. But I also think it's just kind of what they said is that they didn't really enjoy necessarily doing these songs because they don't feel the same connection to them, which makes sense. It's like at this point, they're not putting the same passion because they're just doing a cover in their eyes.
Or I think it actually suits Hughes's vocals a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree.
I never really liked during this time how like Coverdale was like introducing the older songs, like this was about a song written in Switzerland. Got Frank Zappa and the Mothers. It's like, I don't know, it just sounded kind of like cheesy.
He's like reading off of, it's kind of like the beginning. Okay, here's the agenda for today.
Yeah.
We're gonna do Burn, then we're gonna do a song, 2 songs from the new album. Then we're gonna have a 15-minute break.
You
We're
do
gonna
like
break
Rod.
for lunch at 12 o'clock. Then we're gonna come back. We're gonna get into some breakout groups.
But I mean, it's like it's we're gonna do some breakout groups.
We're gonna do some exercises.
But it almost sounds like Rod Evans in the new Deep Purple. Like, this is from our album Machine Head. What? You weren't on that.
I love how he keeps those little repeating riffs going to the point where it's like, is he gonna mess it up? You start getting in your own head if you play something that fast repeatedly, you know? And Davey makes a really good point, which is that DC is not a storyteller and Ian is.
No.
He's not like a storyteller songwriter. I can't think of a single. Well, Jorg's in the chat. He could correct me very easily, but I can't think of a David Coverdale song where he's straight up telling a story the way that Gillan is in this one. His songs are a little bit more abstract, which is fine with me. I really generally do not care for storytelling songs. Davey's on fire in the chat. He said Rod Evans needs to come back and do some whoosh tracks. This is
Should do nothing at all.
Imagine if he tried it again. Rod Evans starts touring his Deep Purple. Here's a song from our new album, Whoosh. It's called Nothing at All. Like, Rod, you're at it again. He's like, yeah.
Roll Rod, he's at it again.
He's up to his old tricks. Comes out in the spacesuit. Rich's favorite part of the song will be coming up soon. George was playing his ass off back there.
It's probably the best part of the song. Look at the chat. Rod Evans' new band, Peep Durple.
It'd be great if Rod was just like silently playing like some nightclub shows out in California, like somewhere, but under a different name, like nobody even realized who it was. Not doing any Deep Purple material or anything. He's been doing it for 20 years at like these small little intimate clubs.
You never know.
He's happy and bald headed, that's all we know.
Georgia. Georgia.
Here you go, Rich. This is for you.
Just smile. He is my friend. With an own sweet songs. Georgia.
Rich just said, "Oh balls."
On my mind.
Bathroom break.
Yeah. Only got about 2 minutes left.
Georgia.
But it's gonna be 2 minutes of that, Rich. I remember there's like interviews with Coverdale where he's kind of also complaining about this, like, Glenn is singing Georgia on his mind, and he kind of like storms off stage for a while.
Storms off stage. Damn it, he's at it again. When I saw him on the Deep Purple Classics tour a few years ago, like the version that he did of this that night, though, was pretty flawless.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's funny, he's sounding pretty good right now. He sounded rough at the beginning of the show, but it's like he kind of like needed a few songs to warm up. Which I don't know if Glenn is the kind of guy that's doing like vocal exercises or whatever. But he came out sounding strong when we saw him. Davey said the new bass player in Whitesnake was a missed opportunity to hire back Nick Simper. That would have been incredible. There's a pretty brief version of Georgia on my mind.
Thank you.
All
All right.
Now we're going into a longer section of the performance here.
We're going to do a song for you that features John Lord and also the wonderful talents of Mr. Ian Paice on drums. Here's a song for you called Lazy.
It'd be cool if they don't have to introduce every song, you know, like you let the crowd figure it out. But yeah, Mark IV doing Lazy is interesting.
Yeah, have I ever heard Mark IV do Lazy? I don't think so.
You have if you've heard this.
But then I haven't heard it, or at least not for a very long time. Really interesting set list.
It is a really cool set list. And so this is Lazy that goes into Homeward Strut, and then also has an organ and drum solo in it. So this is a lot going on in this performance. And it's funny because my copy of it says that this is Lazy and the Grind. Like a lot of copies of this incorrectly say it's the Grind, but they do Homeward Strut. And it's also funny because it's on this one it says where is it? Oh yeah. Later on it says the guitar solo with Tommy Bolin. It's just one M. Tommy Bolin. It's funny that they got his name wrong and they got the song wrong. But it'd be incredible if you had this kind of level of quality of more concerts out there. And that's kind of cool about this era is there's all these like hidden gems that you can find that are actually listenable. There's so many that you can barely make out what's going on.
Yeah.
Now I've got like a little recorder that's this big I can bring to a show and just plop on the ground and get a 10 times better recording than whatever tape decks they were bringing or reel-to-reels they were bringing to shows back then.
It's true. The shows that you recorded are pretty good quality.
It's funny, yeah. They keep introducing all the tracks and all the band members. It is also featuring R2D2.
Here's some R2D2 for you.
Here's some droids for you. These are the droids you're looking for. Let's go. Jorg says, introducing songs is some of the only things that David Coverdale can do in these shows. Maybe he's feeling like he's missing the limelight, so he gives these big long introductions.
Mm.
Yeah, this isn't your father's lazy. And it's funny because it's still John Lord doing the intro. It's not even like it's because the other guys are doing crazy stuff. Yeah, and a great point that I think we've made before and that needs to continually be made is like, it's interesting that they never. Ooh, listen to that. It sounds like Billy Preston. That's great. But it's weird that they never attempted like Childhood Time with Glenn Hughes. Like, could have easily done it.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Have we ever talked about that?
I think we've talked about it on past, like probably a long time ago, but
because he would have been able to do it then and now.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't do that and then like funkify it up, Sweet child in time,
Hey, you! I'm singing you! That'd be great. I would love it. He's got the move watching over time. There you go.
This isn't your father's. This isn't your mama's lazy. This isn't your papa's lazy. It's like lazy, like 2000.
He's warming up the organ now, I think, to kick into it.
You're like Space Odyssey 2001 lazy. I mean, this was probably their attempt to update it with the direction the band had gone in at this point.
Crowd's going wild. 2001, A Lazy Odyssey. They're debating whether Lucas was at one of the shows and came up with the idea for R2-D2 when he heard Lord's organ solo. The audience is maybe starting to get wise to what's coming here and clapping.
Well, yeah, if I was in the audience up to this point, I'd be like, fuck is this song?
Yeah, maybe that's why Coverdale's introducing it. He's like, these guys are going off the rails on this tour so far. I better introduce every song so you know what to expect. Mm-hmm. People don't just walk out because they think this is going to be like this for another hour.
Scott wrote.
What's that?
I miss my Commodore. Was it a Commodore Amiga? I'm gonna have to look that one up. I had a Commodore 64.
Derek used to have the Amiga.
Yeah?
Yeah. Star Wars was going to be called Space Truckin'. The chat on every show, they're giving us great material here. Wow, he's really jazzing it up, Bolin.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sounds like something off a Spectrum, which I never would think of like Lazy being in that category.
But it kind of has that same drum beat.
Yeah, right. He's the best Billy Cobham.
Here's some Billy Cobham for ya.
Yeah, Davey says Coverdale saying the name of the tracks to help the bootleggers. Are you guys writing this down? It's gonna be really helpful when you're converting this.
I
kind of dig this this version of Lazy. It's pretty cool. Although, I guess we'll see what happens with the vocal start.
Stay in bed.
No harmonica from Coverdale.
Stay in bed. You don't want no money. You don't want no bread. Touch no straw. You're trying. Touch no straw. You want no money. Want no bread no more. You lazy. Stay in bed.
It works for the bluesiness of Coverdale's voice.
feel like Coverdale could have gone a little bluesier on it.
I mean, I love hearing the dynamics you get on this recording too, and that's kind of like what we love about, you know, Mistreated and the California Jam. You could hear a fly landing on one of his strings, and then all of a sudden they just kick it into complete overdrive, and that's one of the cool things about being at a live show is hearing that when they bring it down like that. And even when we went to go see them these last two times, you didn't really hear much of that. It was mostly just loud and at the same volume, even live. It's pretty cool when they break it down to the point where it's so quiet you could like have a conversation with somebody if you wanted and then kick it back in. York says Coverdale's also helping the bootleggers when he mentions what town they're in. Gillan doesn't do that. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to top the Gillan version of Lazy, but
this is good because it's different. I mean, after years of hearing Lazy the way that we know it.
Rich just fell asleep. He said he fell asleep and asked if he missed Georgia on my way. You're lucky, Rich. You lucked out. You did.
That's good.
It's just so cool because you can imagine what Blackmore would be playing over this, and it would not be anything like this. Cool. I love hearing the different styles. We could do a whole episode breaking down like the Morse, Blackmore, and Bolin version of Lazy solos. Maybe even a two-parter.
Yeah, this is definitely like full on like Spectrum.
So it sounds like, yeah.
But it's good to hear like Tommy Bolin kind of getting his kind of his voice heard, so to speak, in here. Not that he wasn't a huge influence over this era.
This is Paice at the perhaps the peak of his powers. I think that's what really obviously frustrated Pace and Lord and Coverdale, is that they were all
they're all killing it musically, and these other guys are like struggling.
I mean, it's like they were killing it musically some nights, and then other nights not so much.
Inconsistent, yeah.
Yes, good point. I should not compare Blackmore. We probably will get like canceled by the Deep Purple community if we even dared to compare Blackmore solos with Bolin and Morse solos. A lot of people chiming in to tell us that it's not Blackmore, it's not Purple without Blackmore. Getting a really nice stereo mix on those drums too. It sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds like he's having more toms than normal.
I was thinking that. I never hear him go.
I mean, it's kind of cool because, like, in earlier shows, they would do Space Truckin' and it would just devolve into like a gigantic. It would be the same length as this, but it would be this giant jam and everything. And I kind of like the idea that they start with a solo, they work in a song, they throw in another solo. It's going to go into another song, and then presumably, I don't remember, maybe end with Lazy again. So it's kind of cool to do it that way rather than just having those breaks and saying, okay, here's the time for the drum solo. And it kind of like blends into it. You don't even know exactly where it begins. Not the classic. Speed up that kick drum. Rich says this is the best vocal part of the album. Yeah, Andrew's saying that Hughes doing Child in Time would be not a good thing. I mean, I think it would if he could somehow reel him in and rein him in, it could be great. But yeah, he might I think his style would be more like, well, if Ian's gonna hit this note, I'm gonna go 3 octaves above that.
True.
He's going high enough as it is. There's got to be 2 drummers there at some point. Somebody's coming in and giving him some backup. That's a good point there, just coming off of what they just went through, like, what, a month earlier in Indonesia with everything that happened. I mean, they started this tour in November. So here it is January. They've, almost been killed. They lost somebody in Indonesia and almost killed trying to leave the country and arrested and every other thing. So, yeah, it's a lot mentally to deal with. Yeah, it's a good point. The Pace and Bonham could make a single bass drum sound like a double. Yeah, getting that sign up. My buddy Scott can play that like that on the kick drum, and just watching his foot is like incredible. You get that like little spring to it. It's incredible how you can get a double bass sound out of it. Nice. Here we go. Listen to that. Yeah, like how would anybody even really identify this as being Deep Purple a few years earlier if they heard it. Well, while they get this groove going on, we're going to thank our core level patrons. Coming in at the $7.77 Keep It Warm Rat tier, Michael Vader. At the episode 666 tier, Steve Coldwell, Arthur Smith, Anton Glaving, and Mike Catan. Oh man, usually don't have such a funky background of this. The nice price tier, $5.99, Fielding Fowler, Robert Smith, and Peter from Illinois. At the $5 Moneylender tier, John Convery, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Alman, Alexei the Perfect Stranger Slepakov, James North, Mark Hodgetts, Will Porter, Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, and Tim Southern Cross Johnson. Thank you so much to all of you guys. Some of you that are here right now, like Adrian, thank you. Nick Catan, thank you. Maybe some of you all with assumed names, who knows? If there are any patrons in the chat right now that are using like screen names or alternate names, you'll have to let us know. Unless you want to remain anonymous, that's fine. They're really feeling themselves with this funk jam. Maybe that's all they do is just that little snippet of Lazy, which is kind of cool, just throwing in a little snippet like that. Ooh, Scott learned how to play fireball with 1 foot. Foot must be sore still. Michael Catan says he's going to stay anonymous for now. We'll never figure out who that guy is. Yeah, Coverdale may have been off stage for 10 minutes or so at this point. So they kind of break this up with the rest of the tracks on this are going to be longish, but this is the absolute killer track.
Yeah, this is the epic.
Michael Catan saying this is one of their top 10 albums. Hot take alert.
Ooh.
Raph Calf wonders if Leaky Mausoleum is on the chat. You may never know. I like how Leaky Mausoleum is like the mascot for the made-up names, and anyone references anyone, they're like Leaky Mausoleum. It is very memorable.
My current favorite is still Sugar Tits.
Wow, well, it's very recent. I don't think anybody on the chat even knows that Sugar Tits is a patron yet. I don't know if that episode's aired.
Whoops, disregard.
Oh, spoiler alert. Well, if you're listening to this on the stream, you're already familiar. You've heard me forced to say it at least a couple times. Yeah, that little homeward strut thing is really nice. And it's great hearing John Lord play it. Damn, their money's worth on that performance.
See him play some drums. All right.
It's so long ago, you forgot to mention John Lord. You forgot that happened. All right, here we go.
We're going to do a couple of new songs before we do more off Machine Head or Stonebringer or whatever.
So a couple new
This next
songs
song's a
or
song
whatever.
that I myself wrote. This is especially for friend Stevie Wonder. This one's called This Time Around.
This time around. 7 minutes. Mike Catan just keeps coming up with the hot takes.
I think you just got to be in the right frame of mind for what you're listening to.
Yeah, of course.
You face a crime hereabout. To pay the cost would never be the same.
It's always really interesting hearing John Lord playing on the organ rather than the piano.
Eternal lovers were not to blame.
I think we should do a welfare check on Rich, make sure he's awake.
No refrain.
And on Coverdale. We've heard from Rich more recently than Coverdale.
Oh, there he is. Rich, not Coverdale.
As I look around, you can't be found. To lose you, I would rather see the endless time of space go passing by. This time
Mike Catan. Ugh, this part blows.
He's really trying to get at. He's trying to get me with the hot takes. Don't shoot the messenger, but this is better than any album since Perfect Strangers.
Deep disco. I like deep disco.
Yeah, the Davi's saying the John Lord concert tribute version from 2014 blows this one away. It's definitely a different take. It's also Glenn Hughes doing the absolute most vocal acrobatics he can. That was very sultry. As I look. Sultry Hughes.
I would rather see the endless time of space go passing by. This time around. This time
Everybody's hating on this song. Oh.
Davey said David Coverdale is backstage writing lyrics for North Winds while this is going on.
The Gardot is multitasking.
Yeah, some people are joining us on an important work call. Yeah, they're pointing about that this time around. It's it's a hard one to do live.
I mean, it wasn't bad.
No, well, let's read the chat.
Well, it wasn't like. I mean, you and I like the song anyways. So I mean, I don't say this version was like intolerable. I mean, it was like I thought it was good.
It's hard to create the kind of the magic from the from the album because you're not even doing the instrumentation correctly. But I mean, it's interesting, but then Ode to G comes in and it's great. Yeah, this is, I think, maybe one of the flaws of the Mark IV lineup is that, yeah, you get, while we joke about Ritchie refusing to do things sometimes, was a good censor for what the band may have done had he not refused. Like, they would have just gone on in the middle of the day at the California Jam. We wouldn't have that great dark sunset feeling to it. Ivan, Ivan's going back to his great life. Have fun, man. You can always catch up on the rest of it on the episode. Where's a plate of spaghetti when you need one? I like how they really bring that down. A little feedback there. Wow. Glenn really did some noodling on that one.
I leave you in the capable hands of Mr. Tommy Bolin.
Mr. Tommy Bolin, everybody. It's interesting. They never mention the Ode to G part on any of the live recordings that I've seen of this. They just say this time around and then into a guitar solo. This guitar solos. He's going to bring out all the effects in the world here. They're like, yay! Was that a guitar? Just leaving them hanging for a bit. Just plugging in new equipment. Ralph Cap says, I get why people were annoyed with this lineup now. Fireworks shooting out of Tommy's guitar. I mean, I guess like the vocal stuff I can understand, but I mean, come on, listen to some of like the Mark II or Mark III or any of the 30-minute versions of Ring That Neck when Ritchie's like stepping on his guitar and everything. I don't know. I don't think this is wildly different from that from a musical standpoint with these super lengthy stories. I get the maybe lyrically you don't enjoy as much what they're doing, but it's not like they were new to the self-indulgent lengthy instrumental portions.
Yeah, I think that what Ritchie was doing back then was probably more, I don't know, groundbreaking. I mean, I get what you're saying, like from a musical standpoint, probably no different than this, but probably more exciting at the time.
Right.
Although this is not bad either. Like, you just got to be in the mood for this.
Yeah, and what else were what were their contemporaries doing at the same time? When you factor in, like, what was your average 70s rock band, your average 70s drug-addled rock band doing live at this point? Probably a lot of the same stuff. And it's kind of like when you see them now, like you don't see the drum solo. You don't see, you see like the little organ solo, but they've pared it back a lot, and that's kind of more common. You don't see a lot of that as much these days. It's not like the standard boilerplate 70s concert format. What was that? It's like a fire.
Sounds like a fireworks.
Yeah, so we need like a milk carton with David Coverdale's face on it. Have you seen this man? Last seen during the first verse of Lazy.
Coverdale's gonna come out. He's gonna be wearing like a nightcap, like
Holding a candle, dripping wax down. Here's a nap time for you. Well, I guess I got the album art figured out for this one. Ooh. Axe Fiend says Mountain was the bass player from Mountain was doing a 20-minute bass solo. So
Yikes.
yeah, it's not completely. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I think Led Zeppelin was way more self-indulgent than this. I remember, like, you know, our buddy Scott and my cousin Jeff would always be watching, like, the song remains the same, and I almost feel like they should call it The Song Never Ends. Very much the same kind of, you know, whatever you want to do, which is whatever. It's Coverdale's auditioning band members in the back.
I like this whole story, like this whole thread of this whole story. Like I was just to be like, you probably ran across the street for a sandwich, and people like, no, he's like in the back, like creating White Snake right now.
Yeah. So the old narrative is like he leaves the stage because he's like, oh my God, they're just going off on the band. But in reality, he's like sending like one of the roadies like, hey, tell him I need 10 more minutes. I'm still auditioning people. And then like the roadie runs out. Hey guys, stretch it out. Like, could you do like a really, really long version of this time around? And oh yeah, sure. Tommy, keep that guitar solo going.
Well, I mean, honestly, at this point, like, I mean, when they're all at this point in their career and they don't need that kind of rest between songs,
yeah,
necessarily, like, I could see why Coverdale, like in a show like this, would be like, I am not like personally fulfilled because I'm not getting to perform for like 50% of this.
Right.
The next comment. Oh, it's so good.
He took a shower, had lunch, and wrote the lyrics to Blind Men.
He had already auditioned John Sykes by this point.
He's planning out his next 20 years of attack.
I think we give him too much credit. He's in the back like, here's a groupie for me.
Exactly. Take your time, love.
We even have time for Afterglow.
Oh. Doing a little love child there for a second.
I mean, solo definitely not bad, but I mean, obviously not too engaging at this point. Because you know, based on how we were just kind of talking over it, otherwise I would have been like captivated.
Yeah, it's like a kind of like, I don't want to
But I
say
mean,
lazy,
he was,
but it's kind of just like I'm just noodling around, having some fun, and you know, I think everyone in the crowd, you know, they're all there having fun. I don't think they necessarily care.
but I mean, it was obvious that he still was like at his height. You know, I mean, he could still play. He was playing, at least this night, he was playing better than he did in like Japan.
Yeah, and I think it's honestly why I don't generally listen to a ton of live albums. It's not.
No,
I'm
me
not
neither.
usually a big fan because it's fun every so often to listen to, and especially in this format we can listen with friends. But in general, being there and experiencing this is a much bigger thrill than actually just listening to what happened. But
Oh yeah.
some people completely feel differently and just collect all the live albums, the bootlegs, and love it. But
Well,
it
I
was
think
never
that
really
that's
my thing.
why you hear from a lot of people now that like criticize like YouTube performances or performances where they haven't been there, that it's a different experience when you're actually there, which I could agree with.
York's pointing out that Coverdale's girlfriend would have been backstage, so probably no groupies, but maybe his girlfriend. Who knows?
He'd have to be very sneaky.
So no wife at this point? Was he divorced from his first wife at this point, York, or is he? Yeah, at this point, yeah, he was. Since Twitter didn't exist, he was just like writing these funny little notes on little like index cards. Encore. Then he pick up another one. He just had a big stacks of them. What are you doing? I don't know. It'll all make sense one day. Oops, in italics. Ah, he married his girlfriend in 1978. There you go. Thank you. There we go. Now we're kind of in the home stretch here with the last 2 tracks. 2 tracks, but sort of 3 songs. Oh, right into it. Didn't even introduce it.
Well, yeah, that's because Coverdale hasn't come up from backstage when they were going into it.
He does the backwards thing.
Wow, okay.
Coming out of nowhere, dropping like a rain, storm bringing down some thunder again. Dark cloud gathering, breaking the day, no point running, 'cause it's coming your way. Ride the rainbow, rock the sky.
And isn't the version of Stormbringer made in Japan is kind of short, isn't it? I'm sorry, made in Europe.
I think so.
This one is like 10 minutes. This is why I've said on the show many times, like I really enjoy if I'm doing live music, I enjoy seeing it. I enjoy like visuals. And I think, man, if you had like a good quality video of this, it'd just be absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
Sadly, that was expensive back in those days. Yeah, the Stormbringer on Made in Europe only is under 6 minutes, so. Davey says, only 2 more tracks, only a couple more hours. Rich said he had to go seal the driveway, asked if he missed anything. Whoa. Yeah, as the concert progressed, Hughes got a little more loose. Oh, I just got an email that we're live on YouTube.
Oh, awesome.
Go check that out. So Peter's saying that It's a Great Life If You're Norwegian was played on the deep tracks, and then they also played Getting Tighter the other day. So staying true to their word. It's good that somewhere you can hear deep cuts like that. Oh, Michael Catan's asking what the best DVD of Deep Purple is. That's a hard one. I still think the Denmark 72 is maybe one of those. That and California Jam are two of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, they're the most accessible ones, the most popular ones, but I mean, they are great performances.
Yeah, maybe it's something I've never seen.
I would even say made in Europe, except we know that that wasn't one continuous show.
Which one?
Made in Europe. It would have
Yeah,
been
but
if it were like, if that were a continuous show. Like,
yeah, but he's saying like a DVD, like a video.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no video of that one. But
So since I can't change the rules, it's not that one.
if you change the rules, it might be that. I mean, my only concern with that is it's too short. Like they could, if that was a double album and they put like the full show, or created a full show for multiple shows, it would be a little bit better, in my opinion. Here we go. Yeah, that's true. The Copenhagen 72, when they put in the New York performances, is pretty good too. The extended one. Yeah, and the audio mix at Cal Jam is not great, but I kind of like the I like when they talk to the audience with a little instrumental backing. That's always fun. Yeah, good point. There's a million live videos of the show from like the 90s on, but I'm not as familiar with those. Come Hell or High Water, for entertainment value, Come Hell or High Water is very entertaining.
Not like one of Ritchie's last performances,
I think it's like his second or third to last.
where he was like fucking everything up.
He comes out like 3 minutes into Highway Star and throws water at people.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bad.
I was just like,
It's bad enough when you do it at the end of a show, but when you start off the show by throwing water at somebody, it's your first, when the song is 3 minutes in, yeah, it's gonna be a fun show.
it'd be funnier if he was like a plate of spaghetti.
Do it on stage.
Because you'd just be like, I'd be stunned, but then I'd be like, where did the spaghetti even come from?
I think Gillan has to perform the rest of the show with the spaghetti on his face.
Yeah, see, this is where this song could have gone, but Ritchie wouldn't let it. He refused to let it.
He did. Yeah, I'm sure there's songs where they had ideas for which song did they want to be the extended jam on. Now, Made in Japan, they obviously mistreated, and Euphormo one were the ones where they went with that. York says there's a new sound mix of the Cal Jam circulating. I'll wait to get my hands on that.
God bless you, Long Beach. Thank you.
They're not letting it end here. We got 3 minutes left. What are they going to do? Or it's just gonna be one of those things where we hit a crowd for 3 minutes. A fake ending.
It's coming your way. It's coming your way.
Because of the way you get that white paper positioned in front of your microphone with the black thing, it looks like one of those black and white cookies. You have a big black and white cookie in front of your microphone.
Hmm.
It's coming your way. It's just the way that you always want.
Okay, the Gardeau is back. He's asking what song this is. It's Stormbringer.
Coming your way. Night and day, shake it.
Trying to get into a weird, funky ending of Stormbringer.
It was a Stormbringer. Now we don't know what it is.
It came your way. The Gardeau is not multitasking anymore. He's fully finished. You're going to hear the stunning conclusion of On the Wings of a Russian Foxbat.
God bless him. Thank you, Long Beach.
God bless you. Thank you very
Set
much.
up another firecracker? What's going on?
Yeah. I was gonna say, is that
It's
fireworks?
a drum. It just doesn't sound like a drum. Get the screaming crowd for another 30 seconds. We do the whole big song and dance where we pretend the show's over, but everyone knows it's
Thank you,
not.
Long Beach.
Although with previous versions of Deep Purple, you never actually really knew.
Hmm.
It's such a formality nowadays. I think it's kind of interesting. Andrew says that sound we're hearing is John Lord shooting himself.
Here's a song you all know. So help us out. Okay?
Yeah, I think Glenn's bass, like John said, John Lord said, Glenn's bass playing, even when stoned, was just, he was on fire. He was getting funky on this one. I like it.
Hmm.
All right, here we go. The conclusion. They would only play 4 more U.S. shows on this tour. San Bernardino, Tempe, California, actually Arizona, but in the thing here they say California. Salt Lake City, and Denver. Then 5 shows in UK, and they were done.
Yeah. See, that's why I never liked it, because like, oh my god, it's just kind of like slurred the words. It sounded like.
I just think they're not into it.
Eh.
They're doing it because they have to do it. They're not doing it because they want to do it. Like, I think if you asked Coverdale, Hughes, maybe even Paice and Lord, you guys want to do Highway Star this way? They'd probably be like, yeah. But they have to, you know?
Yeah. That line gets me every time.
Yeah, Gillan's vocals were too, his lyrics are too subtle. He had to really,
It's just like, you know, tires is tits, right?
It's like, oh wait, this song isn't about a car at all. I mean, the second verse kind of clears up any confusion anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to hear him doing Slaves and Masters. There's a fire in my crotch.
No, I actually like Bolin's take on this solo.
Yeah, he kind of starts
Overall.
it. It's just the song isn't written for David Coverdale register. Like it's like
True.
he's got that screaming voice and he's got that low voice which he normally sings in. And this is he's like, it's got big fat tires and everything. But it's kind of like it's like in that middle zone where it's hard for him to really give it his all, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, every singer has got a different range. If they had written this music with Coverdale in the band, he would have written vocals that suited him better. A good point. Davey saying or Davi saying they inverted the solos in Highway Star. Legs over easy. Yeah, Gardo mentioning that they have so on the bonus tracks on this one and the King Biscuit, yeah, they do Going Down, and yeah, it's the same song they do on Turning to Crime. But we're not going to get into the bonus tracks this time they had this basically. It's because they had the double CD, they had extra space probably, and then they had 4 songs from an incomplete recording in Springfield, Massachusetts a year earlier, and they just shoved them onto this at the end. In case you wanted to hear another version of Smoke on the Water and Georgia on My Mind and Highway Star.
He's like, I want candy.
That's one thing another thing I really don't like about bonus tracks is generally a lot of the times it's like I just listened to the album, I don't want to hear another version of the song I just listened to. I mean,
Right.
They're cool for historical purposes, but
Like maybe nice to have on there and listen to it a separate time.
yeah. We can do a bonus episode where we do just the bonus tracks from this one. Episode 382. Look, wait for it.
Never really liked the way they harmonized the vocals on this either.
Well, also, at this point, Coverdale's been doing this for 3 years and he still doesn't know the lyrics to the song. It feels like, he doesn't say Big Fat Tires twice. Somebody should tell him. It's another, like, when you can tell they're not really into it. They're not. They're doing it because they have to. I got a warning from YouTube that they've detected copyright audio.
Uh-oh. Are they going to cut us off?
Well, no, they won't cut us off, but they will. They will, however, not let us, keep this live stream up probably after this. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to stop and start back up. Oh, no. All right. That's some of the magic you don't get to hear on the actual audio podcast, starting and stopping up the audio.
We're just pulling back the curtain here so you can see behind the magic.
Some of the things you don't get to hear is like 5 seconds of awkward silence that get edited out. That's the magic that happens behind the scenes. But yeah, there you have it. That is On the Wings of a Russian Foxbat, live in Long Beach, 1976, whatever the heck you want to call it. But yeah, it was a blast listening to that with York pointing out that Gillan doesn't know the lyrics to his songs after 50 years either. But yeah, that was really fun to listen to. Before we break up the stream, we do have to do one thing. And I think by this point you all know what that is, right? And that is to thank our, what level is it? Foundation level patrons.
Did you thank any?
Yeah. You stepped away for a second and I filled the void with thanking some patrons. But but that was our core level, folks. Now we have to thank our foundation level. So coming in at the $3.33 halfway to evil tier, we have Raf Calf on the stream right now. At the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, Peter Gardeau also on the stream, Ian DeRosier, Mark Roback, Duncan Leask, Stuart McCord, Flight of the Rat Bat Blue Light, Ivan Fjellbu. It's a great life if you know we can. And Runar Simonsen. It's a great life if you know we can. Then coming in at the $1 made up name tier, we have The Wings of a Leaky Foxbat, Leaky Mausoleum, Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 fanatic, Spike the Rock Cat, JJ Stenard, Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Ashen Lionel, Sugar Tits, and heyo, our newest patron, Scott Price, who hopefully we'll hear something back from next week. A little bit of a rundown of how we discovered the show and all that. But that's it. Yes, I agree. This chat was completely unhinged. It was great.
Love it.
Great material in the chat. Thank you for everybody joining us this week. And we will definitely do it again. Next time we cover a live album or live performance, we'll do it again. And hey, maybe on social media or wherever, send us an email. What do you think the next live performance that we haven't covered before should be? It'd be great to get some feedback on that. Or maybe we'll just pick something we want to do. It's kind of what we usually do anyway. All right. Well, I have to go because I am going to my kids' school. So they called me the other day and they're doing some sort of safety presentation. Ritual kind of like this, where they're giving a talk about like safety and fingerprints and crime and all this sort of stuff. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to run in with sunglasses and a scarf and like all in disguise, and I'm going to steal the woman's purse and run out. And then they're going to have to describe who it was. And then they're going to call me back into the classroom, and then they're going to figure out that, hopefully my own children won't even recognize me. Is the idea to teach the class that, if something happens that quick, you might not have reliable information and all that sort of stuff. So it should be fun. So I have to leave because I'm stealing a woman's purse. Or hopefully they're not setting me up to frame me. We never called that guy and asked him to do that. And I'm going to prison instead of work right after that. So
all right. So Nate has to leave early to be a mugger.
Yeah, I have to go well, I'm not going to mug anybody. I'm just going to I'm going to purse snatcher.
Purse snatcher. There we
purse.
go.
Well, not a little old lady, regular.
But someone's.
I don't know how old or young she is. Usually, like the teachers at my kids' school are so ridiculously young that it's just like, oh no, like I just graduated. I'm 23. I'm like, oh my god, you could be my kid. But yeah. So I'm going to steal a old lady's purse. So.
Dave is turning to crime.
Yeah, I'm turning to crime. Yeah, so generally, be able to stick around on the chat for a little bit, but I have to get up in my disguise.
So make sure to send pictures.
I don't think I'm gonna yeah, I should just keep the live stream going on my phone. I'll just run in. I'm live streaming this.
Just in case you need somebody to help you make bail.
Yeah, exactly. I hope I'm not being set up. All right. Well, thank you, John. Thank you to the chat. And
Yes, this was fun as always.
yes, a big blast. Big fat tires and big fat tires. All right. We will see. Well, I'll see you anyway next week, and you will all see us on the next episode if you're listening to this recording.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Deep Purple Podcast. If you like what you hear and would like more episodes in the future, please donate on Patreon to support the show. You can also leave us a review in Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for show updates. See deeppurplepodcast.com for more details. Thank you for listening.